Tonight, I'm going nowhere. First Minister Humza Yousaf says he'll fight to keep his job.
I absolutely intend on fighting that vote of no confidence. Why? Because the people of Scotland elected the SNP as the largest party in the Scottish Parliament.
Also making the headlines. Bells for a big celebration. Stirling marks the start of a year of events for its 900th birthday.
Glasgow events venue SWG3 is given a written warning and told to crack down on drugs following the deaths of 3 teenagers. And in sport, Philippe Clement expects his captain James Tavernier to stay at Rangers next season.
I'm Gordon Cree in Edinburgh.
And I'm Kellyanne Woodland in Glasgow. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. Humza Yousaf says he has no intention of resigning as First Minister and will fight the Conservatives' confidence vote in Parliament next week. Yesterday, he kicked the Greens out of government.
Today, they say it's pretty clear Humza Yousaf will be unable to unite Holyrood and are urging the SNP to kick him out. Our political editor, Colin Mackay, is in Dundee and has been speaking to the First Minister. Colin, what did he have to say?
Humza Yousaf was announcing £80 million of funding for affordable housing today. He was trying to show that he is getting on with the day job of leading a minority government, announcing new money taken from Green priorities to fund SNP priorities. But his real top priority is trying to keep his job as First Minister. I've spoken to a number of senior SNP politicians in the last 24 hours, and quite frankly, none of them can see how Humza Yousaf can hold on. But today, he was putting on a brave face. He came out fighting. He's certainly not hiding, because my interview was the first of about a dozen that he did today. Are you going to resign as First Minister?
No, I absolutely intend on fighting that vote of no confidence. Why? Because the people of Scotland elected the SNP as the largest party in the Scottish Parliament. So all this political game playing that the opposition are doing, I'm going to leave it to them. I'm out here, of course, announcing £80 million for affordable housing. That's the priorities of the people that I'm focused on. But no, I won't be resigning. I'll be fighting that vote of no confidence, and I think we'll win it.
Have you considered your position, though?
No, I've just told you that, of course...
Have you considered it?
I've just told you no, because I intend to win.
You haven't even thought about resigning?
No, because I intend on winning that vote of no confidence. I believe we can. And also because, of course, I'm ultimately focused as First Minister on the priorities of the people, like announcing £80 million for affordable housing, to get housing that is out of stock back into stock, so that every family has an affordable home that they can, of course, enjoy and live in.
So you will at no point resign before that conference vote, which could be next Thursday?
I just told you, whenever that vote of no confidence is brought forward, if the opposition bring it forward, the SNP will be fighting it.
They've already put the motion down, so it will happen.
I'll be fighting it, and I intend on winning it. All right.
You'll need to get the support of maybe Ash Regan to win that. Is that okay with you, given that, not long ago you said she was no great loss to the SNP?
Well, look, I'll be writing later on today to every single party leader and party group in the Scottish Parliament to ask them to come to meet with me in order that we make minority government work. Because that's reality. We're now a minority government on an issue-by-issue basis. We've got to work with every single political party right across the political spectrum. And that, of course, includes writing to Ash Regan, as well as the Green Party and all the other party groups.
How confident are you that you could win that confidence vote next week, then?
I'm confident. I believe I can win that vote.
How?
I told you I'm confident I can win that vote.
How can you win it?
Well, of course, we'll negotiate, discuss, have discussions with other political parties, hence why I'm writing to them. In the last 24 hours, and we've seen the reaction from the Greens, the anger, the hurt, I understand it. I do get it, and that's why I'll be reaching out to the Green Party as well to say, look, how do we make minority government work? It's in our best interest. And remember, the Greens and the SNP may not be in a cooperation agreement, but we have many shared interests, from the race to net zero to, of course, being pro-independence parties.
So how long do you expect to last as First Minister, then? How long do you expect to last?
I will absolutely be taking us into a general election and then to the Scottish election in 2026.
So do you think he can lead the SNP into the next election?
I'm not sure he can lead the SNP into next month. I said yesterday that sacking the Greens and giving up his majority was a big gamble, and it doesn't look like it's paid off, certainly so far. He's talking about appealing to other parties there in that interview to make minority government work. Well, they have already made their positions absolutely clear. They will not back him in that confidence vote next week. He's hoping the Greens might soften. And you know what? If he'd handled their sacking in a bit more of a dignified way, that might be possible. But he didn't. It was brutal. Their response has been brutal. And now for them, this is personal. So that leaves the Alba MSP, Ash Regan, holding his future in her hands. She seems like his only hope at the moment, because if he loses the confidence vote next week, there is no way that he can carry on as First Minister. That could ultimately lead to a snap election, and the SNP can't afford that either financially or politically. Or he could quit and allow the SNP to find another leader, their third First Minister of this Parliament. But today, he made it absolutely clear in that interview he is fighting on, and he did his best to sound confident. But his opponents think it is all but over. Some of his constituents agree with that, as Laura Alderman reports.
He's enjoyed a year at the top of the political pecking order, but now Humza Yousaf is in a bit of a flap. In his constituency today, opinion very much split on if he should stay or go.
I think he's the best of a bad bunch, to be honest. I prefer him over anyone else, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
It's a hard one. I've met him once and he said a nice bloke, but it's doing the politics, isn't it? That's where all counts, and time for change, I think.
Yeah, I think he should stay. I think he's done a good job so far. Despite the criticisms of him, I think he's done quite a good job. Actually, he's moved things forward more than people realise in actual fact.
He shouldn't be here at all, because he's been inept in every job he's done.
Visiting a renewable energy site in East Lothian, the Scottish Labour leader says winds of change should usher in more than just a new First Minister.
We have no confidence in Humza Yousaf, but this is not just about him. We have no confidence in this SNP government, and we think it would be completely untenable for them to change First Minister again without actually asking the people of Scotland to decide.
We've seen with the other opposition parties uniting behind the Scottish Conservative vote in confidence, there is a strong desire in the Scottish Parliament to remove Humza Yousaf from office. He has failed as First Minister, just like he failed as Health Secretary, as Transport Secretary and as Justice Secretary.
After being sacked from government yesterday, the Greens are sticking to their guns.
The Scottish Green Group decided yesterday that we would support a vote of no confidence in the First Minister.
And is that your position today and going forward as well?
That is our position, yes.
Could you be convinced in any way over the next few days to vote differently?
I can't think of anything that would convince us. There's certainly nothing on the table at present, although I am aware we're in a very dynamic situation with new information coming in all the time. So, that is absolutely our position at the moment.
Humza Yousaf moved in here to Butte House, the official residence of the First Minister, just over a year ago. But given the events of the last 24 hours, it's still unclear just how long he'll get to keep the keys for. Laura Alderman, STV News, Edinburgh.
Next tonight, after several difficult months for the royal family, with the King and the Princess of Wales being treated for cancer, there's some better news for them tonight.
Buckingham Palace has just confirmed Charles III's recovery is going well and he's to begin a return to public duties. Well, Vanessa Kennedy is at his official Scottish residence at Holyrood. Vanessa, what more can you tell us?
Well, it was just under 3 months ago that we heard the news that the King was receiving treatment for cancer and would be taking a step back from public duties for some time. It wasn't clear exactly how long that would be for, but in the last few minutes it's been announced that he will be making a return. His Majesty's medical team say that they are very encouraged by the progress made so far and they remain positive about his continued recovery. Now, the news has been marked by the release of a new picture of the King, which we're told was taken earlier this month on their Majesty's 19th wedding anniversary.
So Vanessa, what can we expect to happen now?
well, any public-facing engagements will remain subject to doctors' advice. So it won't be a full summer programme of events, but next week the Queen Camilla and the King will be visiting a cancer treatment centre, and then next month they'll be hosting the Emperor and Empress of Japan on a state visit. Of course, traditionally summer garden parties are held here at Holyrood Palace, where the King is introduced to invited guests from around Scotland, and it's too early to know what the plan for that will be this year, but the King has said that he's greatly encouraged to be resuming some of his public duties, and he and Queen Camilla have also said they're very grateful for the kindness and the well wishes they've received during what's been a turbulent few months for the entire royal family.
With the very latest, thanks very much, Vanessa.
A sheriff has been ruled as unfit for office after his behaviour towards two women was described as serious improper conduct. Sheriff Jack Brown has been suspended on full pay since the allegations in 2018. A tribunal found he acted inappropriately. The First Minister will now consider whether to remove him from judicial office.
Gaelic development chiefs have written to MSPs warning that the language is facing an existential crisis due to a lack of funding over a number of years. Coleman na Gaelic has issued a written submission as part of the Scottish Government's Languages Bill. It says more must be done to help young people learn the language and take it into adulthood.
We try and support young Gaelic learners in and around Gaelic medium education. The biggest challenge there is having those pupils reach an adequate level of normal fluency at the end of their school years.
Colleagues and friends of the murdered scientist Brenda Page have remembered an inspirational colleague while unveiling a memorial to her. Brenda was found dead in her home in Aberdeen in 1978. Her former husband, 82-year-old Christopher Harrison, was found guilty of her murder last year.
One of Scotland's most historic cities has launched a year-long celebration to mark its 900th birthday. Stirling is holding a series of events, including concerts and exhibitions.
Local schools and artists have worked together to ensure the major moments of Stirling's rich history are remembered. Laura Piper reports.
Birthday bells for an entire city. Stirling is turning the grand old age of 900, and its local bell ringers are making sure the celebrations are heard.
Meet lots of good friends round about. There's no doubt about that. A very friendly bunch, bell ringers. It's a very historical town, of course, and of course King James VI of Scotland was crowned here when he was a baby of 13 months.
The bell ringers are also guardians of one part of Stirling's history. This tower houses the oldest ringing bell in Scotland.
You can hear the bells ringing out beautifully across Stirling, marking the start of a year-long celebration.
Hey! It's so special because not everywhere in this country gets to celebrate 900 years of being appointed a royal borough. So I can't predict what's going to happen in the next 900 years, but I can tell you what happened in the last 900 years, and it's worth celebrating.
As part of this, a new artwork has been unveiled showcasing many of the major moments in Stirling's past and its local legends.
I tried to distill everything down into an image that captured the energy of the town. We're never going to tell a full, complete timeline, but we were able to kind of capture something that hopefully sums up the spirit of the city.
I really like it. I love all the colours and I love the whole thing. It's really cool.
Stirling has been at the heart of Scotland and at the heart of Scotland's key moments for 900 years. We can go back to the Battle of Stirling Bridge, the Battle of Bannockburn. We can see the first powered flight took place in Stirling in the last 120 years. Everybody who you've ever heard of in Scottish history ever has been in Stirling.
From the big moments in our country's history to the slightly less well known.
Stirling is home to a rich history. This football was found in the Queen's bedchamber up at Stirling Castle during renovations in the 1970s. It actually dates to more than 480 years old, making it the oldest known football in the world.
All of Stirling's memorable moments will be celebrated over the next 12 months, with local residents eager to get the celebrations underway.
Happy birthday, Stirling!
Happy birthday, Stirling!
Laura Piper, STV News, Stirling.
The Glasgow events venue, SWG3, has been handed a written warning from the city's licensing board following the deaths of 3 teenagers in 5 months last year. The owners of the warehouse-style venue have been told they must tighten up drug procedures and tell police every time an ambulance is called. Brandon Cook is there for us this evening.
SWG3 is an extremely popular venue, attracting around 300,000 visitors to its doors every year. They're here to see various live acts like bands and DJs, but the tragic deaths of 3 teenagers following 2 dance events here last year put the operators and owners firmly underneath the spotlight. Police Scotland then launched a complaint to Glasgow City Council's licensing board, and today in front of the committee we got some insight into their concerns. We now know that at least one of those 18-year-old boys who died in hospital following a dance event here in August bought pills from an unknown person inside the venue. 5 months later, at a New Year's Eve event, an 18-year-old girl took unwell after taking pills with friends. She was treated by staff who were told an ambulance was unavailable. Eventually one turned up at 4 a.m. She was admitted to ICU and then later died. At the committee today, Police Scotland said these were 3 tragic deaths in less than 5 months. The venue say that they have a zero tolerance policy on drugs, but given the scale of the venue, that of course is sometimes very difficult to put into practice. They said that if drugs can make it into the prison estate with the might of the Scottish Government, the Scottish Prison Service and the police trying to stop it, then of course, despite best efforts, it will still make it into club nights. The owners say it's a societal issue which they're trying to address through anti-drug campaigns specifically targeted at the young people who would come to these type of club nights. The licensing board issued a written warning to the operators of SWG3. The main conditions are to double down on their drug policies and, crucially, to alert the police anytime an ambulance is called. Brandon Cook, STV News.
The priest from the only Catholic church in Gaza has come to Glasgow to raise awareness about the humanitarian crisis. Around 700 people are sheltering in the Holy Family Parish after the fighting intensified on both sides. Father Gabriel Romanelli has been stranded in Jerusalem since the Hamas-led attack on Israel in October, but has remained in regular contact with his congregation.
The situation is very bad because they need anything. There is a lack of food, of medicines. For the beginning of the war, we lost 7 children from the home of Mother Teresa, the disabled children, the children with special needs. But the lack of medicine and a lack of electricity.
There's so much suffering right now, and so the other thing we're calling on is urgent humanitarian access. We know that the level of humanitarian aid going into Gaza is actually now less than it was before October the 7th, and that urgently needs to change.
OK, time for all your sport now with Raman.
Kellyanne, thanks very much. Good evening to you all. Philippe Clement expects James Tavernier and Conor Golson to be at Rangers next season. That after it was claimed former Ibrox boss Steven Gerrard may look to lure the duo to Saudi Arabia in the summer. At Celtic, Brendan Rodgers says his players have the experience and mentality which could be vital in the title run-in. James Tavernier has been at Rangers for almost 9 years. He's captained the team since 2018, scoring 125 goals for the club. He still has 2 years left to run on his contract, but this week it was claimed Saudi Arabian side Al Ettifaq, managed by Steven Gerrard, may make a move to sign Tavernier in the summer, while Conor Golson has also been linked with a possible move to the Gulf state.
I didn't hear Steven. Yeah, I expect them to be here next season, yes. That's my expectation. If I need to speak with every player where there's a rumor about, then we will not train too much, I think. Or I cannot speak about a lot of interesting things because there are so many rumors in the world now.
Clement has revealed Rangers have made moves to keep John Lundstrom beyond his current deal, which ends in the summer.
There have been offers from the club. There's no agreement yet. That's the only thing I can say for the moment. I hope that. I know he loves the club. I know he loves to be here. And then it depends of what you can offer as a club and what other clubs are offering in this situation.
Abdallah Sima will spend another spell on the sidelines after sustaining a fresh injury last weekend, but Clement expects the forward to play some part in the title run-in. At Celtic, Brendan Rodgers takes his team to Dundee on Sunday. The champions have a 3-point lead at the top of the Premiership.
This is the period where you got to get your trophy head on, and you get your focus on what it takes to become a champion. And the players here are well versed in that. They understand the mindset, they understand the psychological traits that's needed at this stage.
Rodgers says James Forrest will have a key role to play between now and the end of the season. The winger impressed in the Scottish Cup win over Aberdeen last weekend.
I think you've seen it in a number of the cameos he's produced recently. He didn't get so much game time in parts of this season that maybe he felt he maybe deserved. You know, we were giving other players a chance that were brought in. But the longer it goes on, you see really his qualities and what he brings to the team, and I think that his mindset, as well as what he brings to the pitch and that calmness, as well as the quality, that'll be really important for us.
Daizan Maeda may be back in the squad next week after making a surprisingly quick return from injury. Nick Montgomery says he has no doubt he is the man to take Hibernian forward after the Easter Road board branded the team's bottom six finish unacceptable. The head coach is under pressure as Hibs conduct a full review of their football operation. Meanwhile, Hearts boss Stephen Naismith wants his team to break the 70 points barrier as they look to wrap up third place. Here's Jamie Borthwick.
He's under the cosh, and not for the first time this season. That's the reality for Nick Montgomery after missing out on the top six. Last week, the Hibs Board of Directors made their stance clear. Results must improve.
I fully believe in what I'm doing, and a lot of the fans and people at the club when I came in, believed, and then results sometimes bring doubt, and that's normal. What I need to do is internally and collectively is bring that belief back. There's a lot of positive stuff I've talked about in today, a lot of real positive stuff moving forward for the club, and it's just about sticking with the belief and having the patience now, because I've no doubt that I'm the man to lead this club forward.
Hibs face St Johnstone at McDermott Park tomorrow. Across the capital, Hearts can seal third place and guaranteed European group stage football if they win away to Kilmarnock. And while that would leave his squad with little else to play for, Stephen Naismith is firm that they want to finish the campaign as strongly as they can.
Automatically getting confirmed third doesn't change, and we just change everything we're doing. It might give you a bit more scope to see where boys' injuries are and who's trying to push through rather than being forced to have to play players. But there's still a drive here. Like I've said before, I think we've got a good opportunity to get more than 70 points, and I think that's realistic to push on and try and do that.
Callum Nieuwenhof won't play again this season after having surgery, but Liam Boyce and Craig Halkett are inching closer to returning to the first team. Jamie Borthwick, STV News.
Well, there are all of the weekend's Premiership games. Bottom club Livingston will be relegated if they lose to Ross County tomorrow. Meanwhile, Motherwell make the trip to Aberdeen. Well, this weekend, the Women's Scottish Cup semi-finals take place. Tomorrow, holders Celtic face Rangers. Then, 24 hours later, Spartans take on Hearts. Both games will be played at Hampden.
Everybody acknowledges that it's a really close match-up, and whoever plays well on the day will win. I don't think either of us can get away with a bad performance because the other one will capitalise on mistakes. I think we're both top sides.
When it comes to these games, like sometimes you can do all the tactics in the world, but it really does just come down to mentality. So these games are getting bigger, like I said, and it's fantastic for the women's game in Scotland because that's what you want.
Are you excited to play at Hampden?
Yeah, definitely. I've dreamt of this since being young and watching big games here, watching the Scotland men's team here. So, yeah, it'll be good.
We've been through cup runs before, and we know that they really do create magic memories that you never forget. And I think to walk out at Hampden is going to be one of those moments.
Snooker news, and Steve Maguire holds a 2-frame advantage in the second round match at the World Championship. Maguire leads Sean Murphy by 5 frames to 3. The first to 13 frames will progress to the quarter-finals. Well, after his win over Jamie Jones last night, John Higgins will take on Mark Allen in his second round match tomorrow. Folks, that's all your sport tonight. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Thank you, Raman. Well, blue skies today, but still very chilly. Sean has the weekend forecast.
A spell of wows will gradually settle into a scattering of traditional tapas. TUI sponsors STV weather.
Very good evening to you. We've seen a few showers bubbling up once again this afternoon, but in the next couple of hours, those showers ease away. It's dry, it's clear, and again, it's a cold night to come, especially further south. Dumfries and Galway, South Lanarkshire and the borders. Just have a look at that blue on the map. We don't really want to be seeing that as we head towards the end of April. Lows down to about -3 in some spots, so well below what we'd normally expect at this time of year. We will still hang on to a few showers in parts of the Hebrides. Now, tomorrow morning, a lovely start to the day, plenty of sunshine, but once again, like today, we'll see those little bubbly clouds bubbling up across inland parts and some scattered showers developing. So I expect we will see some showers in the central part of the country during the afternoon. Let's take a closer look at that, and we're going to run a wee slice across from Jura to Islay, and we'll finish up around Grangemouth and Falkirk. But you can see across Kintyre and also the Hebrides. Tomorrow we've got plenty of dry and sunny weather. Temperatures, okay, they're only 9 degrees, but hopefully not feeling too bad in the sunshine with light winds. As we run into Renfrewshire, Inverclyde, Dumbartonshire, a few showers around here, but more frequent showers parts of Stirlingshire, especially to the north of Loch Lomond, where we could get some heavy ones with hail, but a lot of dry and bright weather tomorrow afternoon as we head into western parts of Fife and West Lothian. So a pretty decent day apart from those showers that bubble up over inland parts of the west. On Sunday it should be dry and sunny for most of us, especially in the west, cloudier in the east. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV weather.
The late news tonight is at 10:30, and we're both back on Monday at 6.
Indeed we are. From all of us here, good night.
Bye-bye.